We think of our legal system as this powerful tool, right? A cherished right that gives any of us a shot at justice. But what happens when that same system, the one designed to protect us, gets turned into a weapon? Okay, let's dive right into this. This right here, this is the heart of what we're digging into today. This isn't some abstract theory from a textbook. It's a direct quote from a real complaint filed right here in Marion County. It's so raw. It's a person saying the very system that was supposed to bring relief was used to cause even more pain. And that raises a huge question for our community. How can you trust a system that can be twisted like this? And that's really the core tension, isn't it? It's like a two-sided coin. On one side, the ability to go to court and fight for what's right is a cornerstone of American freedom. It's where an individual can stand up to someone powerful. But on the other side, that exact same power can be bent and used for intimidation, for harassment, for harm. So when the system is used as a weapon, it's not just some unfortunate thing that happens. It's a specific legal wrong. It actually has a name. So let's break down what the law calls abuse of process. Now, what's really important here is how specific this definition is. This isn't just about someone filing a weak case and losing. No, this is about knowingly using a legitimate court procedure for a malicious, twisted reason. For instance, imagine someone filing lawsuit after lawsuit against a local small business owner. Not because they think they'll win, but just to bleed them dry with legal fees until they're forced to shut down. That's the kind of improper purpose we're talking about.
So really, it all boils down to intent. The person doing this is doing it on purpose, deliberately. Their goal isn't to get a just outcome, it's to achieve something else entirely. To bully someone, to harass them, or to gain an unfair advantage by using the process itself. And this can happen at any stage, from filing the lawsuit to burying someone in subpoenas. And this, right here, this is the massive hurdle. For anybody in Marion County or anywhere trying to fight back against this, how in the world do you prove what was going on in someone else's head? Proving malice, that they intentionally did this for the wrong reasons, is incredibly difficult. And that's what makes these cases so tough, even when the harm feels so obvious. But intentional malice isn't the only thing that can go wrong. What if the problem is more subtle, something that's just baked into our human nature? That brings us to our second point, the unseen and powerful influence of bias. This question really shifts our focus, doesn't it? It moves away from the person weaponizing the system and shines a light on the people who were supposed to be its impartial referees, the judges. What if the system is vulnerable not just to malice, but to the simple fact that judges are, well, human? This quote from the Georgetown Law Journal is fascinating. I mean, think about it. Unlike a therapist who is trained to check their biases at the door, judges are often encouraged to draw on their life experience. But what happens when that experience, those personal, baked-in assumptions, starts to color how they see the facts of a case? Our brains are wired for efficiency. They love taking shortcuts. We all rely on these mental shortcuts or stock stories to make sense of the world quickly. Now picture a really complex, emotional family court case. A judge might, completely subconsciously, fall back on a stock story about what a good parent looks or sounds like. And that can totally bias how they interpret everything they hear. Social psychologists actually have a name for this. An observer, like a judge, tends to see an angry person and think, that's an aggressive person. That's what they call a dispositional cause. It's about their personality. What the observer might totally miss is the situational cause, that this person is reacting to years of injustice. Let's go back to that complaint from Marion County. When someone feels like the system itself is causing them harm, their frustration in court might be misread as aggression, and suddenly that biased interpretation becomes the official record. So we've got intentional misuse, we have unintentional bias, two huge challenges to justice. It can all start to feel a little hopeless. But the system does have its own safeguards built in. So how is accountability supposed to work right here in Oregon? To rebuild that trust here in the Salem area, accountability is absolutely everything. The state doesn't pretend its judges are infallible. Instead, it has created a formal process that's designed to be a check on judicial power. So let's just walk through how this is supposed to work. According to the Oregon Judicial Department, step 1 is that any person, not just a lawyer, anyone, can file a complaint about a judge's conduct. Then a special commission investigates it. If they find there's something to it, they hold a public hearing where evidence is presented, and finally they make a recommendation to the Oregon Supreme Court, which has the ultimate power to censure, suspend, or even remove a judge. It's a multi-step process designed for transparency. Okay, so we've looked at the problem from a few different angles: the weaponization of the process, the quiet influence of bias, and the formal way to get accountability. So what does this all mean for us? For our community's faith in the justice system? Look, building or rebuilding trust isn't easy. It means we have to have a clear-eyed view of all these pieces. We have to acknowledge the system's incredible power, and yes, its potential to be abused. We have to accept the reality that judges are human and they bring biases with them. And critically, we have to know that these accountability measures exist and then demand that they're effective. So here's the bottom line. Trust isn't earned by a system that claims it's perfect. It's earned by a system that shows it can see its own flaws, that it can actually listen to someone like that Marion County resident from the beginning, and that it has the integrity to hold its own most powerful people accountable. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question. It's one thing to have a process on paper, but it's another thing entirely to make it feel real and effective for the people it's meant to serve. When the scales of justice feel tilted, what does it really take for a community, for our community, to believe in them again?